Okay, we're going to be starting our board meeting. If everybody would just, either turn off or mute your cell phones, it would be appreciated. All right, Ed is about 5 minutes away. He'll be a little bit late. I would like to call this meeting to order. Regal Shores Board of Directors, February 25th, 2026. Robin, the roll call, please.
Stuart Cooperstein. Here. Marty Danowitz. Here. Shelley Siegel. Here. Richard Sherman.
Here.
Robin O'Connor here. Ray Haslett.
Here.
President, we have a quorum.
Thank you.
I would now like to ask for a motion to approve the minutes of February 25th. Do I have a second?
January 28th.
January 28th, excuse me, I made a mistake. Unread.
Stewart made the motion, seconded by Marty. All in favor? Opposed?
President, the minutes of January 28th have been accepted.
Thank you. Okay, the President's report. Good morning and welcome to the Regal Shores Condominium Association meeting of the Board of Directors. As noted in the agenda, the only real business to conduct today will be the reallocation of common surplus funds from our roofing project to other operating and/or reserve accounts. The rest of the meeting will be informational. At our last board meeting, January 28th, we adopted the revised rules and regulations for Regal Shores. They were signed, notarized, and filed with the state on February 13th. CMI, the AC contractor, subcontractor for storm roofing, has completed the installation of the inline dryer filters on all the affected air conditioning condensing units. I know that I am repeating myself. I have spoken on this topic at past board meetings and in my articles in Lifestyle magazine. Speeding. We recently had a near miss of a speeding car in one of our residents as she was exiting her building. This really has to stop before someone is seriously injured or killed. The speed limit on the roads is 15 miles an hour, and in the parking lots, 10 miles an hour. Be aware of people leaving their buildings, and then again, when you exit your building, treat it as an intersection. Look both ways before you step out. With that said, I am now going to put something on you. Regal Shores is comprised of 292 units in 11 buildings. Your board of directors is made up of 6 individuals who have volunteered their time to make this a better community. We have 9 building captains, currently looking for 2 more, and maybe 6 or 7 other people who add their time to committee work. Everyone else loves to complain about anything and everything, from landscaping to timing on the irrigation systems, from garbage not being disposed of properly, to people abusing handicap parking spots. If you will not step up to the plate and pitch in, then where are we going? That, by the way, is a rhetorical question. The answer is nowhere. We need your help to have a successful, beautiful, thriving community. Please get involved. Let a board member know that you would like to help. We are currently looking for volunteers to join our landscaping committee. We really need your help, and we need you to step up to the plate. And that's the president's report. Marty, the treasurer's report, please.
Thanks, Richard. This is to be the financial information for the month ended January 31st. For balance sheet purposes, Regal Shores 1 and Regal Shores 2 are consolidated. Operating funds as of January were $703,000, which is an increase of almost $300,000 from December, predominantly due to the quarterly assessment. Special assessment funds for the elevator were $215,000, and note that the elevator project is now officially done, so that balance should go away against the reserve in the next month or so when all the books are cleaned out. Special assessment funds for the roof were $2,015,000. General reserve funds were $1,173,000, which is a bill predominantly for the monthly build of reserves. Other current assets of $561,000, predominantly made up of prepaid master fee of $195,000, which is due to the Master Association, prepaid insurance of $262,000, and accounts receivable for regular assessments of $146,000. Current liabilities were $1,005,000, which is predominantly made up of deferred income of $633,000, which is what paid out quarterly, insurance payable of $230,000, and prepaid assessments owed of $93,000. Special assessment for the elevators is the same $215,000 offset. Special assessment for the roof was $2,015,000. Reserves was $1,173,000, and our equity was $258,000. Significant income statement activity for the month of January for Regal Shores 1. The only item, two items that stand out, there was the social party of 2021. That will get eliminated once the checks that everybody paid for the party we had will get offset against that, so that will go away. And then we had some Siemens repairs and maintenance of $4,600, predominantly for Building 9, rewiring a tamper switch, and Building 10, replacing corroded sprinkler pipe. And for Regal Shores 2, the main item was pest control for 2005-27, which is predominantly Nelson's bee removal for a hive. And that's it.
Thank you, Marty. And next is the Campbell report. Millie, do we need Ed for that?
Good morning, everyone. For the work order report for the month of January, we had a total of 71 work orders. I show on here at the end of January, there was 43 of them closed out. I'm pretty sure most of them have already been closed out, and the remaining outstanding work orders have to do with landscaping and irrigation. Can you hear me? Okay, sorry about that. I have a total of 71 work orders. I show 43 of them have been closed out. This is for the end. This report is for the end of January. I'm pretty sure most of them have been closed out already, the outstanding ones. The remaining ones they have to do with landscaping and irrigation. Thank you.
This is testing. Here, my question is that we're getting notices of completed work orders when they're passed on to a third-party vendor. They're not completed, and sometimes we never hear back from them again. At one point in time, we were told that if it's sent to a third party, after another 10 days, if nothing is done, something triggers something in the office, and the vendor is contacted again, or something happens. I don't know exactly what. However, I can assure you that there are things that I have received that are closed that are now 2 and 3 months old and have yet to be dealt with. So I wanted to know, and I really wish that Ed were here because I think that he would be the person, but, oh, here he is. Right on time. And so that was my question, is how do we get back in touch with the third-party vendors when they never completed the stuff and you have indicated on Vantica completed? So if you, I'll do a quick review for Ed. We put in the work orders through Vantica. There's the ones that are sent out to third parties. We get the note that it's completed. Then months go by and nothing is completed. And so at one point in time, I believe we were told that if once it's sent out that they're sort of tracked somehow, and if after 10 days or 2 weeks they're not responded to, there's another request that goes out or whatever. But there are things that are happening that are going months unattended.
Okay, so what Millie is explaining to me is that it usually has to do with third-party issues like landscaping, you know, things in nature like that, that if it gets closed out, the portion of Vantica that tracks a work order no longer does that. So if something's closed out at some point, sent to vendor, closed out, because it's not something that's going to be resolved overnight. You know, it could be any number of things that we know, especially like with landscaping, that sometimes it's a period of time. Sod, we're not doing sod, you know, we're not replacing all the trees in front of my building. You know, it's going to be a committee related issue. So that's not going to show up in 2 weeks when the system says, oh, this is overdue. It's not like that.
So,
But that being said, I think instead of sitting here and gyrating, you know, I think we should sit down together as the board. We'll bring in the people that know the system best. I think we'll have yet another conversation about how the work order system works and what we need to do to try to resolve your concerns about it.
Sounds
I
good.
think that's a much better way to do it than gyrating about it right here. And we can get you an answer once and for all, because this is going back and forth and back and forth. Yeah, there are things that are closed out because, again, it doesn't do us any good to have it sitting in the system coming back, spitting out when we know that we're not going to replace all the trees in front of Building 9. It's not happening.
Ed, how soon can we set up that meeting?
I'll do it as soon as possible. Thank you. Yes.
Okay, any other questions? In that case, we'll move on to the first open mic. 3-minute limit. Additional time may not be ceded by another member. Only items specifically on the agenda may be addressed at this time. Each member may speak once on each agenda item, and comments will be taken under advisement. The microphone, the floor is now open.
I think it's on now. Good morning. Thank you all for your service to Regal Shores. I'm Linda Faber. I live in Building 2. I know Joyce Deutsch is in the room. I saw her at one point. Can you give us an idea, if we volunteer for the landscaping committee, what is needed in physical ability, in knowledge, and in time? Thank you.
Good morning, Phyllis Sternlick, Building 6. I'd like to thank Richard for bringing up the speeding, which has been a problem for several years. Richard, I believe you remember that I offered to be on a committee a few years ago to address this before it personally affected me. I was the person who was almost hit outside my building on the white apron that is cement. I spoke with the gentleman, and he was a gentleman, in building 7, because I went over there to very politely say, do you realize you almost hit me? He made eye contact with me as he went right next to me on the apron. He was very apologetic, and his wife was just screaming, hurry up, we're late. Okay. Since that time, unfortunately, I had another incident. Just this past week, I believe it was, my daughter arrived Saturday night. Sunday night, we were out. We stopped at the supermarket to pick up things since her flight had been changed, and were emptying groceries from the trunk of our car. It was about 10 o'clock. We were in the parking lot. We are fortunate now in the last year to have an undercover parking spot, which is directly across from the front of the building. And the trunk was open, and we were, my 10-year-old grandson, my husband, and myself and my daughter were in the parking lot by the car. And a car went shooting past us, where I really panicked that my grandson was going to get hit. I won't go into what happened afterwards, other than I really was upset and ran over and was screamed at by the person who was driving that the speed limit now is 20 miles an hour in the parking lots, whereas the sign says 10 miles an hour. My husband said he believes the man was going 30 miles an hour. The wife told me I was crazy, and maybe I am, but coming that close to people looking straight ahead and zooming through, and my question is, most of the speeding in our lot seems to be people taking a shortcut through to Building 7, because I do walk on the crosswalk very often, and I see the cars going, zooming, and I see them pulling into parking lot 7. I know it was brought up at a building captain's meeting. Marcia brought it up for me before this even happened. And, you know, we're in a community. We should care about each
Phyllis,
other.
thank you.
Okay.
But one of the things that we are looking into right now is putting down what they call rumble strips. We just need the okay from EMS that we are allowed to put them down, but they only raise up about 1/4 of an inch, and I don't really foresee any kind of a problem. They're going to be white. They'll be installed probably, what I'm thinking is from the entryways to the buildings, just going out into the parking lot, basically indicating a crosswalk. And when you drive across them, your car will vibrate a little bit to remind people to slow down. But we are addressing the problem.
Oh, it's on? Okay. I'm Marcia Levy, Building 10, and I just wanted to say, in my building, there is a person who is a habitual speeder. They are probably driving about 45 miles an hour. I almost got hit by them last night, and that is the 3rd time that I've had an encounter with this person. I know who they are, I know where they live, I know what their car looks like, because the incidents. Is there any means of addressing an individual who keeps behaving like this?
Is this a grievance? File a grievance.
Can you send us the information on that, please?
I will, yes.
Thank you.
Okay, and if that's all for the open mic, we'll move on to active committee reports. First up is going to be landscaping, and I see Joyce is sitting here. Joyce is the chair of the landscaping committee.
Is it on? Okay. Good morning. First of all, I want to preface by saying this is a wonderful position. The pay is high. The gratitude is terrific. All right. While I've given up my position on the Regal Shores Board, I have agreed to continue taking care of the landscaping until someone will step up and agree to take over. I will address you after. We have begun the year with major expenses for irrigation and for tree removal. Unfortunately, this was not an option, but a need for the tree removal to be done due to aging and an infestation of carpenter ants. Yes. An overabundance of large leaves from the same tree was going into the lakes and polluting the lakes. So therefore, the tree had to be removed, and the other trees that I am addressing about is they were breaking fences. So we had to remove them. Unfortunately, this was not an option and a need. Mother Nature has not been kind to our flowers this past month. In spite of the extremely cold weather, our flowers have begun to revive. I honestly do not believe that they will look as vibrant as they have looked in the past, but we'll have to deal with it. We've had an overabundance in Regal Shores of irrigation issues. We've had to change complete irrigation in Zone 2, as well as doing repairs around the community itself. So this will affect our budgets eventually, so we can't be frivolous with other issues as far as landscaping is concerned. I'm still getting requests for bushes and plantings to be replaced, and I will continue to do so where necessary as long as we do not exceed our budget. I hope that my committee volunteers will be able to join me for walks in the future, since I had not had the pleasure of their company recently. Thank you, and I'm still hoping for a volunteer to replace me. In answer to you, Linda, I started this position knowing nothing. I'm a New York person. I did have homes upstate. However, the plantings are different here in Florida. I had no guidance whatsoever. Anybody with, I would say half a brain, I'll give myself half a brain, can figure it out. There is a bookkeeping process. You have to keep it, okay. But I need people to step up to do this, not to complain all the time. All I get are complaints. I get no help. I have a committee, but it seems like I'm a committee of one. Nobody is available whenever I walk. I put it out there, but I do not get a volunteer. I can't keep up with people's doctor's appointments. I mean, it just has to be done when I could make time with Joe. I have Joe to deal with as well. And I'm on his case nonstop. I speak to him sometimes on weekends. I spoke to him last night. He sent me an update at 10 to 11 at night this week. I mean, this is not an easy job, but it has to be done. If I step... Linda, be my guest. But the committee is not enough. I need somebody to take over. I'm doing this for about 10 years. It's enough. I gave it the office. And I'm here for one reason, and the man in blue.
Thank you, Joyce. Ray, the Building Captains Committee.
what we probably need is a so-called job description, specifically what's required, that we can give out, put it on the website, or give it out to people so they understand what the responsibilities are. I think that would definitely help, especially with the issue with the irrigation versus the true landscaping itself.
Well,
And the lighting.
they're really intertwined, Marty. They're really intertwined.
Oh, I know they're in, but I think we need to have a detailed description so people understand what they're getting involved in.
All right, Joyce, you want to, we'll sit down with you and we'll put something like that together? All right, Ray, the Building Captains Committee, please. Yep.
We need somebody to step up and take that other position as well. We need people on the board. We don't have people here that care enough to take on the responsibility of things that they complain about.
Good morning, everybody. The building captains met last week. I was unable to attend. I'd like to thank Karen for her notes, taking the notes, being the secretary. And I'd also like to thank all the building captains who show up monthly for our meetings, daily for their residents. They're looking out for your building, in particular, trash rooms, catwalks, any light bulbs out, any issues you have. They also know a lot of vendors. If you need a beauty parlor or a tailor, they'll give you some good advice. And, you know, they're welcoming to the newcomer, the new residents, to show them how beautiful we like to keep our buildings. And we need the residents' help, you know, especially in the trash rooms, a major complaint, you know. Richard mentioned it. But in any event, they did go over the rules and regulations, so they're familiar with them. You know, they're current on all the stuff. Any questions you could ask your building captain. And as Richard mentioned, we need a building captain for Building 3. We're looking out for Building 3 for a volunteer. It's not heavy lifting. It's once a month, and, you know, we got a lot of good people, a good group of people that look out for their community, and I appreciate that. Building 5, Richard, I believe we have some volunteers. We do have volunteers for Building 5. We'll introduce them at the next meeting. And the building captains, they try as hard as they can, but a lot of times they don't get cooperation from the residents. We encourage all residents to let their building captain know who has emergency access to their unit. It's over and over, we repeat that. So somebody needs to know who can get in your apartment if nobody's home and there's an emergency. It's not fair to your neighbors if there's a leak and we got to check stuff out, or alarms, et cetera, et cetera. Irrigation was discussed, first floor residents, and I know Joyce knows a lot about the irrigation. The main thing I see is a sprinkler head, you know, spraying all over somebody's fence. I fill out a work order, it gets done right away. So, and that's my report.
Let me tell you a true story about why a key is so important. Somebody called for a wellness check for a member of our building because she hadn't been responsive from her calling at 9 o'clock in the morning. It was now 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Her car was there. The fire rescue came. We couldn't find, the building captain was not there, and we could not find anybody to do it. They were getting ready to break down the door. We were worried about that. Shelley? So what happened was, yes, Marcia came at that point. She was the captain. They found it. Turned out the person did not have her hearing aids in, so she couldn't hear. The best thing that ever happened, which I never saw, was that they said the fire department, the rescue team, thought that this was a win, that they did not have to break down a door. They were able to help somebody, and her TTY wasn't working. So what I'm saying is, if you need the department to come, the fire department or the police department, we need the keys, and it's not a negative. Their responses were very positive, and they considered this a win, that nobody was hurt. But we were lucky. So please, the keys or access to the panel on your doors is very, very, very necessary. Thank you.
Okay, next is the Facilities Committee. Right.
Again, I'd just like to thank, we got a great committee for the mill and paving, and we'll have some updates. We're gonna actually do a walk around after this meeting, and we're gonna check out stuff with trees, with roots, with drainage, slopes, et cetera, et cetera. So I will have an update after we meet later today. Thank you.
Okay, Ray, actually, this afternoon, we're going to be meeting with Aldo from Paving Lady, Joe from Palm Beach Broward, going around looking for areas that might impact the project for root invasion and
Couldn't think of that word. What do you call the tree guy?
An
Botanist?
arborist.
An arborist. I was saying a botanist. All right, an arborist.
Close enough.
All right.
Okay, moving on now to unfinished business, and that's the reallocation of common surplus funds that were left over from the roofing project. Marty, do you want to give a brief background on that?
Yeah. Now that the roofing project is done, there are some excess funds, and the motion is going to be to essentially utilize those funds predominantly to help offset the cost of the mill and pave project. And we've got issues with the sprinkler system that runs down along the garbage chute. We've had 2 buildings that have to be replaced at a cost of about $30,000 per building. So we're going to establish reserves, essentially a rolling reserve to cover about 3 buildings initially, and each time a building is done, we have to add to that reserve. So this way, we'd be pre-funding that reserve up front, so that it wouldn't be hitting your HOA. Well, we have excess funds specifically because when we did the project, we assumed we built in a contingency to the project, and it turns out that the way the project worked out, those contingency funds weren't needed. That's predominantly where the money is coming from.
What is it? I'm sorry, maybe I missed something. What is this for again?
What is what for?
What are we going to do with the money?
The
We're going to
money-
use part of those funds to supplement for, we do the mill and pave, because we have to do the mill and pave, and we need to fund for the sprinkler systems that run down the garbage chutes, need to be fire sprinklers that run down the garbage chutes. 2 of them have been replaced in the last few months at $30,000 each, so we want to set up a reserve for the other buildings.
Basically, what this does is it allows us to put these funds to have everything running smoothly without having to do an assessment, which we do not want to do at all. So by just putting these into reserve accounts or using them for projects that we will be doing, it eliminates the need for an assessment. That's basically what we're doing. So with that said, I'm going to make the motion. Upon completion of the roof replacement project of our 11 buildings, the special assessment levied on December 11th, 2024 to fund $5,675,000 for the project has excess funds remaining in the amount of $708,187, which are thereby considered common surplus. As such, I motion that such common surplus funds be applied as determined by the Board of Directors to the association's operating and/or reserve accounts.
I second the motion.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
When there's open mic. Soon.
At the end, when we adjourn, then we have open mic again.
Well, actually, that could have been addressed during the first open mic.
About leaders and gutters, that if there was money left over, you would put leaders and gutters on the building? You were gonna look at that?
We could still look at that.
Leaders and gutters.
Okay.
We were told that when we asked the question.
It's on.
Just another point to Joyce's point about a lot of the irrigation issues we've had. These would, oh, it's not on, sorry. That's on. To address Joyce's point about irrigation costs, we already had some significant costs in January. This would somewhat offset, we'd have the funds to cover those, so there wouldn't be an increase, for assessments for anything like that either.
And also, we will consider, as Ed said, what do you say, most of the buildings have gutters. Would you just clarify what we don't have?
I was trying to clarify the question as to the gutter, and I'm assuming what was being referred to was along the face of the building, on the high roof. The lower sections already have gutters, and around the trash rooms and the lobbies and stuff. But I think what's being pointed out here is the ones that run along the main portion of the eyebrow in front of the building that come down to the garden areas, I don't know that it ultimately it would catch some of that runoff and maybe would help to some degree. It won't fix the flooding issues because
What you need is border guards. In front of my place,
yeah.
when they did the roof, I had them replace the gutter guards so I don't get a flood in front and it's not a waterfall and I can walk out. Now, I noticed nobody else in the building I live in has that. I requested that a long time ago and I had a fight with people from Campbell prior to your coming, the other manager, to finally put it in so I don't have a flood. And that's what you need.
What is
Literally a river.
Well, so what are you in one of the two-story buildings?
You talking to me?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm in Regal Shore South.
Yeah.
Building 2.
What he experiences has nothing to do with what she's experiencing. The tile area on her building is 8.5 feet deep. Yours is 60 some odd feet deep. You pick up lots of water, and a guard would be very helpful. It wouldn't do any good for her. But it's, yeah, no, appreciate that. Yeah, they're just different configurations. But at the end of the day, it's something the board can look at. I just needed to be sure I was understanding your request. Okay. We can talk about that whenever you want to. Well, we can bring somebody out to get some pricing and things like that too. It's difficult with those as far as where you're going to drain them. They end up right back in the gutter. It ends up right back in the area downstairs in the little courtyards. And the trouble with that is for those that are looking to not have water in the courtyard, it doesn't work. It's still going to be there. It's just not going to come crashing down off of the roof.
the rocks?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Got a mud lake.
Yeah, but we'll talk about that some more.
Okay. All right, let's move.
Okay, moving on to new business. I don't believe there is any. So with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I second.
All in favor? Meeting's adjourned. And now we will have our second open mic. This can address anything at all. The same 3-minute limit is in force. Additional time, again, may not be ceded by another member. And you're welcome to the mic.
My name is Victor Mayerson. I've lived here for 29 years, probably more than almost anybody in this room. I'm in Regal Shore South, Building 2. There is a problem with, I live in 104. There is a problem with 204. And I've called Richard. I was told to call him by Campbell, and I was told to call him by Susie McCune. The first time, I know you have a lot on your plate, and I'm not blaming you. The first time you blew me off in less than a minute. The second time I called you about this, I said, Campbell told me to call you, and you listened. But this is something the board has to know. This is registered to Don and Sandra Rosenberg. Don is in a memory place where he should be. You have a woman living up there who is mentally deficient. She walks around, she sticks her nose in every window. Last week, she was in Regal Shores North, got lost. The cops were notified. They can't put anybody in the car. They called 911, and somebody tried to bring her back. I'm concerned because I live underneath her, and I've had 2 leaks within 4 to 6 months. I fixed up my place. It was excellent work by Campbell, by Arthur and Sean. They've been in that apartment with me. I have a key to that apartment. That apartment is so filthy, I don't think the health department would even allow anybody to live in there. I don't think anybody in this room would want to live in there. An aide would want to live in there. Now, she does have a son who lives in California called Aaron. I have his phone number. I've talked to him a few times. I really don't get anywhere. I don't think he cares for his mother. I think he has a problem there. He got his father taken care of. But this is a problem for Building 2 because it's a problem for her. Number one, she could fall in the apartment. She won't wear anything around her neck, and she could just lay there and die in that apartment. Second of all, it's a problem for anybody there with bugs, with anything else. You have a person who can't take care of herself living there. And I think, I don't know what can be done legally, but I think the board should be aware of it, and that is what Susie told me, and that is what Campbell told me, to call the board and make the board aware of the situation. And that's all I have to say about that. And if you need me as a go-between, I have the son's phone number, I have a key to the place. I would not go up there alone, but I've been up there with Arthur and Sean from Campbell. They know the condition of the place. Okay?
Thank you. That's terrible.
Well, of course, I've had 2 leaks, I told you, and I don't want another leak. Arthur has come up and patched up my ceiling. It's been checked, so I don't have any kind of mold. There's been a fan in the serious leak that dried everything up, and it's just almost hell living below her.
Ed, I don't know what we could do.
It's limited. The board is limited in its ability to respond, with the exception of, I mean, it sounds like the son is aware of the situation, I assume. I think that's what you said. Well,
He lives in California.
okay, but okay, but he's got to take care of his mother too. It's not the association's responsibility to care for his parents.
No, we're not assisted living.
No, and if he's not, and if he's not,
But that,
yeah, if he's not responsive in looking after her care, the association has no ability, no control over that. You know, only thing you can do is perhaps, I mean, if the association was, inclined to, we could write a letter and just say, listen, concerned for your mother's safety, she's wandered from the house or whatever, just want to bring this to your attention. and just ask that, that you're attending to the issue, the neighbors are concerned, etc. And at that point, though, there's nothing else the association can physically do.
Millie, could you compose a letter?
May I offer a suggestion?
No, wait, we're not done yet. Ed,
Not
can
usually.
you have Melissa find out if she's comfortable for maintenance? Because that may be something we can go after. If she's not, we can push that.
Sure.
Let me say it, all the mail goes to California. The son tells me he takes care of her bills, but sometimes maybe, in a case like this, I don't know what the law is, but if it gets that bad, the sheriff's department can call and try to take her away. She won't even.
They're not going to get involved.
Excuse me, Ed, the sheriff's department has a group of volunteers trained to work with these people who come along when a call is made to them. The volunteers come along and they are capable of making a decision regarding mental health. Okay, so if the son doesn't do it, the sheriff's department can.
When you say make a decision, do they have any power?
They have no power, but they can suggest.
No, they can Baker Act her for 24 to 48 hours. What I would suggest, you as being a good neighbor, call the sheriff's department for a wellness check. And let them proceed with that.
That's a good idea. Okay.
In regard to the lady in Building 6 who is hearing impaired, in order to avoid that kind of incident happening again, there are now devices available that will buzz on her hand, on a bracelet, whenever the front door rings, or if she likes, when the phone rings. So that will avoid her not knowing that someone's trying to get in touch with her. She needs to speak with her audiologist.
Thank you.
Come up to the mic.
Good morning. Regarding what Victor said, I'm Robin Schneider, Building 3.
Come to the mic, Robin.
Raise the mic a little bit.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, good morning. In case anyone who doesn't know me, I'm Robin Schneider from Building 3. Now, with what Victor said about this individual, we have on our, my cell phone, the ring thing. So like sometimes if the doorbell rings, you could see the tape or whatever. I've seen her, like I thought she was visiting at first, okay? I thought she was visiting somebody, around here. All of a sudden by the kitchen window, you could see on the tape, she's like this, peeping through. I was like, huh? I was like, this is really scary. The other day I was coming home, I was in the parking lot, and I see her just wandering by herself, like, she looked like a space cadet or something, like lost. So it is a concern, I just wanted you guys to
Robin,
know that.
yeah, I agree, it's a concern, but the board,
Right. Okay, I'm done.
again, I just want to reiterate, Regal Shores, Coral Lakes, we are not assisted living. We do not have that kind of a responsibility. We care about our neighbors. However, we're very, very limited in what we can do.
However, Robin, you are not limited. You can call the police department for a wellness check.
I can?
Yes.
Can't hear you. Would you mind stepping to the mic? Thank you so much.
We had a person in our building upstairs that we saw she did not know what she was doing. And we knew somebody who was coming to the building to give her medication and so forth. And we told him, this is a danger to her. When we found her walking in the parking lot at night, my husband said, if you don't call social services or you don't do something about this, because the sister had put him in charge, the sister lived in another state. He finally did something, but I will ask my husband legally. He should know what we could do, because this woman's safety is a danger, and there has to be some agency, a social service agency, that I believe should take care of this. Maybe Jewish Federation would know. I will look into it and ask my husband to look into it also, because this is a danger to her and to everyone else around. And we cannot close our eyes to a community resident that is in such terrible straits, okay?
Thank you, Phyllis.
Hi, Roz Souls, Building 2 Captain. Thank you for all you do. I think another thing is job descriptions of every open position is a good idea, besides, the landscaping. I just wanted to know, if somebody has a problem with the apartment, like I had with rodents, how do I find out what the contract was? Because I know, based on FS 718.111, we are supposed to have contracts digitally. We're supposed to have access to them digitally. So we have them digitally on our website?
There's a list of contracts on the web.
But what about descriptions of,
You can ask Campbell for a copy of it.
but they're supposed to be there digitally? It says, if an agenda item concerns approving a contract for goods or services, the contract must be available for inspection, copying, or on the association's website. A list of all executory contracts, documents, or leases to which the association and a party must be posted. Bids within the past year, bids for materials, equipment, or services must be posted after the bidding process has closed.
Again, we don't make the decisions. Our association council tells us what we should or shouldn't put there, and so contracts, a list of contracts. But if you would like a copy of a contract, any contract, just contact our office. We'll make a copy for you.
But why is there digitally, that I don't have to ask for it?
Because lawyers tell you that you should put up a list of them, and they can be asked for, because unfortunately out there in the world, people take contracts, they do things with them, they create issues. I don't know. We're not lawyers. We don't pretend to be. That's what the lawyers recommend. Nobody's telling you can't have it.
But there's a statute.
The statute doesn't say you must have it there, as it says you have to have a list. It's
No.
you
It
have
says-
to have a list. It's right there. And again, I'm not a lawyer, so I'm not giving you legal advice, and I'm not. This is what the boards were given. This is what they were told. This is what they're following. If you'd like it, request it. That's all. That's all.
I'm
It's
just
easy.
telling you what the statute says.
I'm not telling you what it says, because I'm not a lawyer, and I'm.
You don't have to be. I have it right here. It's
Again,
called FS
our lawyers-
718.112.
Our lawyers tell us this is how we should list it. That's it. I don't know. If you'd like a copy of it, you're welcome to it.
Hi, Joe Bleacher, Building 8. I hope I have a question that's a lot simpler to answer. There was some discussion last May at the board meeting about people on the first floor with patios. We can get them power washed by Coral Lake since the water supply isn't readily available to us. And it was going to be in the summertime, and that seems to have fallen by the wayside. And I'm just wondering whether that's something that can be reignited so we can get power washed, because they're black and moldy and gross. And we did it at our own expense. We paid for it.
It was 75. It was listed as 75. I don't know that there were anybody.
I thought at the time that we didn't have enough people, that people were not responding.
There really wasn't many that responded. But I mean, Joe,
no,
we're gonna start doing. We're coming back up to pressure cleaning. I have no problem taking care of it for you.
Okay, but
Just contact us and we'll put you on the list.
No. And the reason I say that is because in May, at the board meeting, it was said that it would take place during the summer. So I waited and waited. We'd get an email. We didn't get an email, so I called Campbell in August. And I was told, no, it's not scheduled yet. So I said, okay, please let me know when it is. They didn't. I called again in September. I called again in October. In November, I went up. I spoke with Melissa Bell. I said, nobody gets a response. She said, we'll absolutely get back to you. That was Thanksgiving. I still haven't heard anything. So it's not that there isn't a response. There was nothing to respond to. We never got an email saying, do you want to get power washed?
If you'd like it done, obviously you want it done. We can set this up for you. And just, you'll make the check out to the association as we've done in the past. Same setup.
Okay.
All right.
All right,
Thank
I'll
you.
bring a check to Campbell. Thank
Sorry
you.
about that.
I'd like to bring something up to the board. I was made aware of somebody washing their car in the parking lot, and I would like the board to address this. I know it's not permitted, and please, Richard, if there's anything you'd like to say.
It's in the rules of the correct.
Joyce, I guess what you would have to do is just, send us the information, who's doing it, when they're doing it, and then we can send somebody over.
Okay, so if anybody does see somebody doing it, would they call Campbell? Who would they
Yes.
call?
I had somebody about a month ago having their car detailed in our parking lot, didn't even live in our building. I called Ed, and Ed sent somebody over.
Okay, I heard there was somebody washing a boat as well.
A boat?
A boat?
Joyce, just like someone suggested, if they could take a picture, because most people do have
That's
their
what
phones.
I told the
Yeah.
party to do. Okay, thank you. But I just wanted to make it a statement.
Hi, I'm in Building 6. I'm just listening to all about the washing and cleaning. Who's responsible for cleaning the floors in the elevator and the lobby tiles?
Alberta? There's a woman. Her name is Alberta. I'm sure you've seen her. She does the cleaning.
They don't scrub
They
the
don't
grout.
scrub the tiles.
It's very dirty.
They don't scrub it, but
They don't scrub the tiles. So she's looking for the elevator issue. I'm assuming we're talking about those as well. This has been the ongoing conversation we've had as long as
yeah,
I've been here.
And we tried. We
You've had
power wash.
professional people come in and
Professionals in.
do them. They're not very attractive. When they're as clean as they're going to get, they still don't look very
Right,
great.
probably needs to be regrouted or a scrub.
Well, they really need to be replaced. We've had professional companies come in and they do a deep cleaning with a machine and everything else.
That would be great.
Well, we've had it. We've had it done. It doesn't look any better when they're done.
did it.
They're
We
just
tried.
they're just not a great tile. But that's something that the board's discussed and we'll have to address
Yeah,
at
that
some
would be
point.
great to readdress it. Thank you.
Okay, I think this is going to be the last one.
Okay. Hi, I'm Stephen. Can you hear me? Steve Belzer, Building 9. Just an observation and maybe a suggestion. I noticed that you have 2 open mic sections, correct? This one, your meeting is adjourned, which means that there are no longer anybody taking minutes, correct?
Well, Richard.
Do you take minutes during this session? The meeting's adjourned, so technically, there's no official minutes recorded, correct?
That's correct.
Yes. Okay. Well, that's my point. I've heard some very good recommendations and suggestions, but yet there's no official documentation that these things will be taken under consideration since you no longer take minutes. For example, last meeting, somebody raised the question of how come the Campbell Management Office is closed 12:30 to 1:30 when there's 3 people in the office. A good suggestion. This meeting, there was no report on that, which means, obviously, it wasn't taken under consideration, and if it was, nobody reported on it because it was done during open mic when there are no minutes and no documentation. For the credibility of the board, maybe it would behoove you to adjourn the meeting after everybody has been said things that may be important enough for you to take it under official consideration.
the format, it's a,
There
yeah,
are,
it's a
there is a
standard format.
procedure in Robert's rules which allows you to do this.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're familiar with it, but before you adjourn your meeting, you could go into roundtable discussion, which allows you to transfer back into new business to make new motions. I don't know if you're aware of that, but you can do that.
just do
And
one.
still conduct your meetings through Robert's rules with allowing people to go on record for certain things.
Okay, and with that, we are done.